So I don't know what benefit LBD is going to bring me. Because if you're talking about discovering these issues, I've already discovered them. He said the fact that you know of these issues and you're not doing anything about it is a bigger problem. The company's revenue grew 128%. More than double in a week.
I'm going to show you the exact frameworks, etc., that we used in order to get him to, alhamdulillah, where he is now, which we'll also break down shortly.
I was like, if you get $1 for every time you say told you so, you'd be a billionaire. You're going to spend that money one way or the other. If money's holding you back, then you need to realize that money is going to be spent one way or the other. You'd rather spend it on something which is actually going to solve your problems.
Did you ever feel like quitting, like throughout the LBD process? Did you ever feel like... Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome to another episode of Live by Design. I'm here with Mr. Adam. Talk to us. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, doing well.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So guys, Adam, alhamdulillah, is one of our Live by Design clients. You've been with us for some time now, alhamdulillah. It's been since about March, right? March or April, alhamdulillah. April, yeah. Perfect, alhamdulillah. So you've been with us for a while. But guys, before you watch this podcast, and I know what you're thinking, another case study, kind of, but inshallah, this is going to be a little bit different, okay? Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we plan to give you guys the full game, okay? We're going to talk about Adam's situation, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Adam is going to go into much detail. I'm going to show you the exact frameworks, etc., that we used in order to get him to, alhamdulillah, where he is now, which we'll also break down shortly. And the next couple of steps, inshallah, as well for you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. But before we go in, I don't want to do a disservice by introducing such an interesting man like yourself. I think I would prefer for a yellow like you to introduce yourself.
Allah yahfaz, Sheikh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina wa Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Subhanallah, it's been very, very transformative 2025. A lot of changes have happened. Could not foresee this Adam in 2024. And 100% LBD has been a huge contributor to that.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's what we'll break down today, inshallah.
Yeah. So you're a CEO.
I'm a CEO
of AK Bikes.
AK Bikes.
So talk to us about AK Bikes.
AK Bikes is my baby, my first child before my other two kids. But alhamdulillah, yeah, AK Bikes is my company. We specialize in second-hand pre-owned bikes. We've been refurbishing, selling them in the local market here in Dubai. I've been in the business of buying and selling bikes for 8 years and running this specific business for 4 years. Alhamdulillah, we've got our flagship store in Mul, 1,500 square feet, team of 7. Got a fleet of 2 vehicles and over 2,000 customers served, alhamdulillah.
Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik. Very good. So you obviously manage your team as well, like you mentioned. You're a founder, alhamdulillah. You're a father, Allahumma barik as well. And you're a married man. Okay, so it's a lot of areas of entropy, right? Which is natural chaos that can happen. So let's actually talk about this. Who were you before Live by Design?
So old Adam was chaotic. Was chaotic, and he's the Adam that needs a slap on his wrist. He's the Adam that needs his ear twisted. Hatta till now, I'm that Adam who needs that, right? But the point is that it's very chaotic. It was very haphazard, very rash, unwise. These are the words I would use for old Adam. Not that I've changed. I still have a long way to go. But that's how I would describe old Adam. You know, I had problems I would come across, and the only way to solve them was to just brute force through it. Just brute force it. I'm tired, just brute force through it.
Yeah, subhanAllah, I'd never forget, right before we got on the call, before you joined and signed up for the Live by Design program, I remember watching your call you had briefly with Mohammed as well. And, you did have a bit of skepticism, all right? Now, you were very aware in the sense that you could see a lot of the bottlenecks that you were facing were as a result of you. Okay, you not being in the right position, maybe you not having the best ability to lead the team effectively, the chaos in your life naturally affecting the business, the randomness, the lack of intentionality, and to call a spade, the lack of full understanding and knowledge as to how to be an effective CEO. So was that a realization you knew instantly before, because again, a lot of clients, when they come and they're like, for us, I'm the problem, it tends to be that they've probably been watching our content long enough to realize they're the problem. They didn't initially know it.
Yeah.
So was it a thing where you realized right from the get-go that, okay, listen, I'm the bottleneck? Or was it something that maybe after a while of watching the content, or maybe after some, questions, some thought-provoking questions by Mohammed, where you came to that realization?
Absolutely. Allahumma Allah barik, Muhammad has been a gem, man. MashaAllah, you need to hold him dear to you. He's been an asset. But wallahi, it's like bid'ah, right? When a person is doing bid'ah, he doesn't know, he thinks he's doing something good, but he's actually getting further away from Allah. So it's kind of like that in as a CEO. Sometimes you think you're doing good for your team by serving them and just giving them their time back and just filling gaps up. But the reality is that's what's the disease is in the company. That's what's preventing you from being able to do your job. So I remember jumping on the call with Muhammad. It was funny because I think I just booked that call because out of curiosity. I was like, you know what? People have been chatting about this. Imran's been saying it's transformative. Let me just see what they're about. And I jumped on the call after Isha Salah. I was like, oh, I've got a call. I was in the lobby of my building. And wallahi, Muhammad broke me down, bro. He beat me up, man. He beat me up. He really told me, like, because I was of the skepticism that, listen, I know my problems. I know I need to focus on my fitness. I know I need to focus on X, Y, Z. I need to work harder. This is what I need to do. I know that. So I don't know what benefit LBD is going to bring me. Because if you're talking about discovering these issues, I will discover them. Thank you for serving it to my platter, but I know at the back of my mind that I've got X, Y, Z issues. He said the fact that you know of these issues and you're not doing anything about it is a bigger problem and a reason why you should be the first to jump to LBD. Because you're like a kafir. A kafir is someone who covers something, the truth that he knows. He's concealing the truth. Hearing kafir on a call by someone I'm meeting for the first time was
interesting.
Was interesting.
Allah barik.
But it shook me.
Allah barik. That's subhanAllah. That's wallah, it's so beautiful. And within that, there's actually an interesting thing I want to cover on this, right? Obviously, LBD, no shame in admitting it. It's a big investment, okay? And at the time, I know there was a bit of skepticism, and you went fully short. So, what led you to finally being like, you know what? And I believe I'm correct in saying, especially now, it's the highest investment you've ever made till date on yourself, etc., or on your company, whatever way you want to look at it. What led you to finally going through with that decision?
The money was going to be spent one way or the other. I realized, like, I'm going to try to speak to Fawaz, try and get a good deal for myself. That's how I always do things. Pakistani or classic, man. You got to find the best deal you got for yourself. But end of the day, this money is going to be spent one way or the other. Either it's going to be spent on low leverage things that don't bring benefit to the company, or even that loss making things. Shiny object syndromes. Like I remember meeting Imran maybe earlier this year. And he was like, I was telling him, I want to have this in my shop, and I want to do this, and I want to put a TV up, and I want to have this, that, the other. It's like shiny object syndrome. None of these things are actually driving your revenue. It's just going to make your shop look nice. Not that it's a good kind of nice where it's going to bring in more foot traffic. Now is a no-brainer because it's like, if I'm going to spend this money one way or the other, I'd rather spend it on something which is going to 10x my leverage. Because as Muslims, we don't have interest. We don't have futures, all these things as leverage. The leverage we have is by being as efficient as possible with our time, being as intentional as possible with our time, knowing our roles. This is exactly our role. I shouldn't be doing anything outside this role. The whole concept of essentialism, saying no to things so that you can say yes to things that matter. So LBD for me was the investment which I had to do to learn those things to be able to do high leverage work. That's what, alhamdulillah, where we're at.
Very good. And how were you feeling at the time? Like, what was the versus if you had to compare how you feel now, like day to day, versus how you were feeling at that time? What would be the major difference?
It's like if we just close all the lights in this room. That's what it's like. Just no clarity. I'm just finding my way. Okay, this is a table, I guess. Okay, this is a chair. You're trying to walk through a tunnel which is fully dark and feeling your way through things. Compared to now, where it's like the lights are on. I can actually see my path. I'm breathing normally. I'm not stressed and overwhelmed of what's going to attack me, what's going to happen. Someone's going to pull my leg. It's like, okay, if I just keep walking till the end of the tunnel, I'm going to get there. And even just before the podcast, like what you're telling me is, you're going to get there, inshallah. You just stay on this track. You're going to get there. Because you got the framework. It doesn't mean you're not going to mess up. You might mess up big time. You might make a terrible decision. But because you have that framework, it's like, okay, I made a terrible decision. Feedback loop. Get back on track. It's so easy, wallahi. And even if you get pushed back, you're still in the same tunnel. Alhamdulillah. Perfect. And okay, so a key part of this was, you came in. Did you tell anyone about the investment? I've always, clients always tell me, like, I told someone about the investment and they had this weird reaction. And so did you tell anyone about the investment? Or what was their reaction like? Not at the time. At the time, I don't think I told anyone. Later on, of course, people knew in the company. People from my family knew. And they're just like, what? Why are you spending this money? The company needs it for XYZ. I was like, the company does not need that as much as it needs its CEO and leader to not be blind. So giving myself eyesight back is more important than fixing, a rusty bolt on the boat.
Yeah, Allah barik. Tayyib, you're 100% right. And like I said, these are the things we've constantly, discussed. I remember our first session together.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it, where we're just like, listen, what are you doing? Right? And going through the 360 audit, you were obviously in a rush to like, when do we do the fun stuff? When do we do the transformative stuff, right? I was like, listen, we start with the 360 audit.
Yeah.
And the 360 audit, alhamdulillah, in itself is transformative, right? So alhamdulillah, for those of you who don't know what the 360 audit, it's essentially the equivalent of us like living next to the CEO for like 2 to 4 weeks, okay? Understanding how they run, where their time goes, where their revenue is leaking, absolutely everything. So what was your experience like with the 360 audit, and how did you find it? Talk to me.
Allah understand, it's the most terrifying part of my life, man. It's like someone stripping me naked, it's just exposing, subhanAllah. And honestly, if you don't want to join, if you're not comfortable with being uncomfortable, this is not the place to be, because you're going to be put through a lot of uncomfortable scenario and like situation where you're going to have to face the way you're living your life.
Can I ask you even just a quick question on this? Like, versus what results to, and the stats and the metrics that we came through as a result of the time audit and all of the other audits as well, versus how you seen yourself as a CEO. How big was the gap? Like, versus I thought I was this good and now I see like I'm here.
Yeah. Back then, I remember Muhammad asked me that. He said, what's your out of 10? What would you rate yourself in terms of efficiency? And I remember rating myself bad. I probably said 3 or 4. But it's probably worse. It was like 10%, 20%. It's like 1 or 2 out of 10. That's how bad it was. Like right now, I'm probably around the halfway mark where I feel like half of my time is doing right and half is still messed up. I need to still work on. But it's like we it's so easy to overestimate what you're actually doing and underestimate what you're capable of doing if you fix this. We overestimate what we're currently doing and you underestimate what we're capable of doing. But I was in that situation.
100%. Very good. And did you ever feel like quitting, like throughout the LBD process? Did you ever feel like, snap, let me just get out of it?
Yeah, the audit was probably that point, because I was just like, man, I know I'm living this terrible life. I don't see a benefit of telling someone else about it. I'd rather hide my flaws and pretend to be, this person which I like to believe myself as. But alhamdulillah, no, I knew, like I can tell when I'm going through pain that this is a good pain or a bad pain. It's like, when you're in a workout, some sort of like muscle soreness is good. But then there's the muscle soreness which is like, okay, my muscles are about to tear. So alhamdulillah, I was able to differentiate that this is actually productive. He's not just trying to, roast me or beat me down. He's actually like, listen, akhi, this is bad. We need to fix this. You can't be spending, 20 hours driving. You can't be spending these many hours. You can't be sleeping this late. You can't be coming home this late. Like those issues, like subhanAllah, just driving. I used to drive 20 plus hours. We did the maths. In 1 week, I was driving 20 plus hours.
And that's 1 out of 7 days.
That's 1 of my 7 days
if
gone.
You think of it, that's 2 working
I could do
days.
replenishment. I could just have 2 working days. 10 hours. And now it's like 2 hours. Like 2 hours. Like today's the only day I drive in the week because my EA is off. So it's like Friday I drive. And it's fun. It's fun now.
Yeah, Allah barik. And was there a specific call or assignment or part of the LBD where you were like, snap, like, I'm different?
I think after the time audits, one thing I was really focusing on even before I joined LBD was I was really upset at my physical fitness, because I was like, listen, I can't look at myself in the mirror and respect myself. Like this is not okay. And for me, my self-image is very important to me to be able to give my best contribution. If I don't believe I am the man that I want my kids to be, the role model I want to be, then I can't do the actions that person would do. And so the physical appearance and the way I feel about myself was very important. Alhamdulillah, I just remember, towards the end of last month, when I was ending my fitness journey, my transformation, so to speak, that was the time I was like, subhanAllah, I don't think I'll be able to do this without LBD. Because I've tried countless times, akhi, before, meal plans, personal trainers, accountability partners, gym memberships. I've tried everything under the sun, to try and be consistent with my fitness goals and be in the shape that I want to be. And I was never able to do it. But because of LBD setting the framework and structure for me to be like, okay, it's not that complicated. If you just do XYZ, if you just sleep well, because sleep was such a big contributor. Because like when sleep throws you off, you don't have the energy to do a workout. You don't have the energy to work out, you're like, okay, forget it, let me just eat whatever I want.
Exactly.
It's just a loop. And LBD really helped me with my sleep. Like, subhanAllah, this week was like probably my best week in terms of sleep. Last night I slept late, but it's like, besides that, I was like 9 to 4. Like, my Whoop consistently was like 80% on sleep. I was like, no way. I've never been 80% of consistency. 9 to 4, 9 to 4.
People don't understand how problematic these things are for CEOs. And I believe one of the things that you know our clients always regurgitate to us about LBD is like, I just love the way you break things down to like the most smallest element and just give us the 20% of things we need to focus on in order to 80% of results. And this is where I'm so anti the industry. There's a million things they tell you when it comes to sleep. Take this, take that, put this, put this over there, and this on your head, and then this, all of these crazy things, as well as exercise and diet. And I feel like one thing that is really important when it comes to LBD is we just strip away of the complexity. We focus on the absolute basics. We measure the basics, which is very, very essential. And we're constantly operating in feedback loops. Like, I remember some weeks you'd come and you're like, okay, I messed up here, I messed up. I'm like, bro, that's completely fine. Perfect. Let's just understand why. Okay, let's input this little system that would prevent that from happening. Okay, set this blocker. Okay, set this agreement with this person. Okay, cut off after this time. And again, as you can see, week to week, there was mad progressive improvement, right? So alhamdulillah, of course, I must admit, in truth, clients never see their growth as quickly as coaches do, of course. We see from outside as well as you are inside you, but alhamdulillah, one of the things I've seen again, and I'm sure you've realized yourself, there's been massive growth in all the areas of your life. Like when you came in, subhanallah, family, there was entropy, business, there was entropy. There was a lack of understanding of what key roles to do. There was a lot of low leverage tasks, and there was entropy in I believe every single department, right? And going from now where you have systems where, okay, and it's absolutely normal. I tell clients, you're never going to be 100% perfect, but we understand the bottlenecks. And now you're operating, Allah barik, at a much higher efficiency from your last time audit we've reviewed and everything. You're doing much better from Allah's fadl. How did being around as well, because I know you had some sessions as well in Morocco. You came for our retreat, the Live by Design retreat we did. You also came for, you did some sessions as well with Shams, some of the work in the community. How did it feel being around the community? Did it affect your growth? Did it affect you at all?
Yeah, well, sometimes, you look at brothers who've already achieved it, already reached the top of the mountain, you're like, wow, amazing, I can't do it. Like, they've already done it. But when you see someone who's actually there next to you, climbing the mountain with you, well, it's so motivating. It's so motivating. Because sometimes you just see someone, he's like, I can't get there. Like, this is too far away. But when someone's in hand's reach, like, bro, I just slipped as well back there on that rock. We can get over this. Do this. I tried this. I implemented this advice Fawaz did. I was like, yeah, I didn't implement that yet. It's like, if you implement this, this is the growth I saw in my company. And all these low leverage tasks that I was doing in my company, like, I remember there was a week or 2 weeks or even maybe a month that I was so stressed about renovations in my shop. And I was just chasing the technical guy. Bro, you did this, messed up over here. I measured it from here to here. It's messed up. You have to put the shelf like that. And like, I'm the CEO, and I'm stressing about a shelf that my mechanics need to put parts on top. And it was such a no-brainer. As soon as I got an EA to be like, Akhi, please remove this from me. Wallahi, sometimes like I just wake up and I'm just like, I have so much time to just build now. I don't have to worry about the team. Oh, the team showing up on time. I would follow up, chase the team guys. You have to show up at this time to the ride. You have to show up at this time to the shop, and chasing up on their attendance and doing their salaries and the HR. And I had no time to build the company. The company it felt like stagnant, but we realized that stagnancy is just decline. The company was like driving into the ground actively at a rapid pace. It's like free fall. Yeah. But when you delegate that low leverage things to people who can actually manage it even better than you, I look at my team now. Those who are managing HR, those who are managing these operations, they're doing a better job than I did because I was so stressed. And when a man is stressed, he can't actually do a good job. He's just going to try and rush through it. He's going to be haphazard. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to put anger in the wrong places. And he's going to put pressure on people who you shouldn't put pressure on. And that would just give me the bad results, the kind of results I wasn't looking for. It's like when you're trying to fix something with a hammer, you just start like whacking the hammer, you're going to damage the thing. And that's what I was doing to my company. Now I just give the hammer to someone who's calm, relaxed. That's his job. And I can 100%. Go and just watch the project from far.
Yeah, subhanAllah, I'll never forget that first week of just looking at your time order. I'm like, well, what are you, bro? You're not a CEO. Like you're not a CEO. And just going from that transition to where you I remember the session you came and we were the in-person session. And you're like, So what am I supposed to do? All these free blocks on my calendar now.
Well, it was the best day of my life.
So we showed you, alhamdulillah, obviously how to optimize different things, delegate, etc.
I thought I retired.
Yeah, we give you SOPs for everything, alhamdulillah, to a point where now finally you were like free.
Wallahi,
right?
it was amazing.
And then you were like, just like, so what do I do with all these blank slots in my calendar?
My calendar is empty. I had salah.
Right, alhamdulillah. And the operations were running, right? Things were still going forward. Even better than when you were handling them, okay? And alhamdulillah, this is obviously a key part in our clients' lives. I'm like, okay, so now it's time to be a CEO. Right, and I remember we had the conversation, okay, what things are CEO supposed to do? And I believe this is where, alhamdulillah, you then went to go focus on the growth of your new projects that you've been, hidden in the pipeline. So talk to me, how did that moment feel? It was like from being the slave, the chief executive slave of the company, to finally like, well, things are running fine. They're even running better than when I was running them. And my calendar's bloody free. Like, how did that feel? What was that transition like?
Yeah, I remember you calling me a slave in one of the meetings, and I was just like, Akhi, I agree with you. I'm a slave to my company. I'm just completely, my whole day revolves around fixing issues my team is facing. And as soon as that paradigm shift, like, no, they're supposed to give you your time back. They're supposed to take things off your plate, not vice versa. I was just so relaxed. And I remember seeing my time block like, okay, like I just do nothing. The CEOs do nothing. But then I realized, okay, now that you have all this free time, you need to build. I remember specifically because this was in July when I got my EA. I remember I spent, like, looking back at my time order in my calendar now, I spent a lot of July on just saying yes to everything now. And that's what happened towards the mid of July, where you're just like, Akhi, why are you everywhere? Why are you here? That's the person's story in that country. Are these things contributing to your company's growth? I was like, no.
No. First you told me yes.
First
you told me yes.
Networking.
Yes.
I said it's networking.
It's growing the business.
Yeah, Allah understand. That was another big, and if this was, again, these things, like, you don't realize where they stem back from. There's something psychologically there in a person, why he develops a habit or behavior. There's some attitude that needs to be fixed before the behavior can be fixed and the habit can be fixed. Like, you have to go step by step.
I remember when I told you, like, why don't you just say no?
I was like, how?
It's like, you looked at me almost disgusted, like say no. Right? SubhanAllah.
That's so rude.
Like, say no. How can I say no? And I remember I gave you the phrase, if you do not design your life, people are going to design it for you. And that's exactly what it was. And what people don't realize is by you saying yes to everything, every yes comes with an equal trade-off. You're also saying no to many things as well. So what happens is you become overly committed to different things and different people that you can't give anything its haqq. And this is such a poor thing, even Islamically, because even what does the Prophet mentioned, the best deeds are the ones that are small, if they're done consistently. Yeah. And when we do them well. Does that make sense? The Prophet mentions what Allah loves ihsan. Allah created excellence, and He loves for somebody to do something and do in its best form with excellence. But when you're saying yes and you're being in multiple different places, it's an issue. Remember when we had that conversation, I'm calling you out and they're like, stop. You can't just be everywhere. You have things you need to focus on. Yeah. You're not at that stage yet. You're a CEO. This is the important things you need to take care of. Look after your company. Build the systems to enable your team to perform better. And I remember, alhamdulillah, the next week you came to me and wallah, you looked so refreshed. Like, I must say, one of the big things you must even likely look at, I think I'm going to start doing before and after pictures of LBD clients of what their face looks like when they start LBD. Because you see the stress is gone, the eye bags, they're like, yeah. And every first session I've done with an LBD client, it's like they're half asleep, right? It's so funny. Like, CEOs are no longer even present because the amount of problems and stress and entropy from the different areas of your life. And we think it's normal.
Yeah.
And that's, the hustle has been normalized, right? That it's supposed to be this way. Yeah. Right? This is how to be a CEO. And it's, like we said, it's not true. So what was the biggest breakthrough out of everything, if you had to say, that you experienced?
I remember saying, to you before as well, that getting an EA probably was the highest ROI thing. Because for me, it wasn't just getting an EA. Like, I tell brothers, listen, they ask me, should I get an EA now? You've got an EA, you're telling me it's beneficial. I said, firstly, it's not for everyone. You need to be at a certain caliber in terms of your position in a company. Like, you need to be having a team, an organization that you're running, where an EA will become beneficial. If you're the sole founder of the company and the one running, you can go by with get by with a VA, a virtual assistant, to get some tasks done. But what an EA is, like, his job, like his KPI is give time back to my to the CEO, the company for the mission, right? And so that applies in every area of life. So for me, that was a huge breakthrough because, akhi, getting maintenance done at home, the AC repaired, getting things delivered to people, picking up, oh, I forgot my bottle at Fawaz's apartment. Can you get that picked up? Like, I remember I would just spend so much time doing such low leverage things. Okay, I get miswaks from the specific shop. Okay, there's the only ones who give me the right miswak. I have to travel all the way there to get miswaks, get in line, find parking. My EA can take care of that. And it's just like, you just have to focus on the things which your EA can't do, which is growing your company. That's what you have to do. And so for me, one of the biggest breakthroughs was definitely getting an EA. But more recently, what was a huge breakthrough for the company, more importantly, was our revenue. And that happened specifically because of, again, the same concept. You can't say yes to everything. And so I was saying, we're a bike shop. We do bikes. We sell secondhand bikes. We will do services. We will do parts, rentals, accessories, apparel, everything. And just saying yes to everything, trying to serve every customer. Wallahi, I remember to this day, we serve bicycles. Akhi, one day I brought in a motorcycle. And my team was looking at me like, what are you doing? We don't do motorbikes. This is an engine. We are bicycle mechanics. We don't deal with engines. And I'm like, no, we'll figure it out. The customer wants it. And akhi, it was ridiculous. It was like one of those scooter bikes. And I put it in the back of my car. And I brought it for the team. Like, we're going to fix this. And I was out there fixing. And the problem is you think, okay, you know what, you're hustling, you're bustling. But what you don't realize is in that time and energy that you just spent, you could have served a customer who's actually your ICP. You could have built someone who will give you high LTV, someone who will actually be happy with this service, instead of someone who's going to be upset at you, pay you less, give you more headache, and actually not be your vision. You're not going to be able to serve him long term. So your LTV is not that good. You just spend money on trying to acquire him, making him happy. So I had to say no to a lot of things. And more recently, just 2 weeks back, or a week and a half back, we said no, we stopped services. And it was such a gutsy thing to do because I remember 2021, the way I started my business after selling bikes for 4 years was, you know what, let me go to garages. I used to go door to door and I used to service customers' bikes in their garage in the heat. And I would work 12 hours a day, make some money, come back home and just reinvest, keep doing that cycle. So for me, I was like, if I'm going to say no to services, that's the asal of how my company started. But it's like, that's great. It's beautiful. It sounds like a nice story, but the company pivoted. The money, the cash cow is sales. We're selling bikes. That's what brings money, the profits of the company. Services is taking a lot of the resources of the company. Like if you look at, even the few bad reviews that we had, it's because of service headache. Some customers giving headache, saying yes to every customer. And we were like, okay, the market is charging this much, we need to charge this much. And it became like a commodity. It's just like, okay, trying to compete in that price and putting pressure on the mechanics. You have to finish in this time, get the customers delivered. We just said no. We're not going to serve customers' bikes anymore. And I remember my operations manager is like, we're going to say, like, what do I tell them? I said, just tell them we're booked. Tell them we're booked. Like, we're booked with our own bikes. Just tell them we're booked. You're not like, you don't say no to them like as if you don't like them. You just say, we'd love to service your bike, but we're booked right now, fully booked. And I said, make a list of all the people who we're saying no to, just so we know that this is not a small decision. We are saying no to all this money right here. But now let's compare it to what the money that we're growing. In 1 week of that decision, the company's revenue grew 128%. More than double in a week. And I remember I was speaking to you and I was like, can we give it a week? And you're like, you got to give it at least a month because you might have a dip. And I was like, I was anticipating a dip. But because we were not realizing how much of the resources was taken away, just by removing that one thing, we shot.
Yeah, so this is the third phase, right? That we always discuss when it comes to live by design. So second phase number 2 is obviously the design, when we designed your way you're living, etc. And we slowly start to optimize it, where your calendar got free. So now that your calendar is free, the third thing, and the thing that always allows us, alhamdulillah, like I said, to reach at 3 to 10x with scale with founders, is the high leverage, right? It's about focusing on applying all resources and time and energy into the tasks in your business or in your life that generate you the most income with the least effort. So I remember that time, and you literally said to me, let's get into the business stuff. Okay, the design is going good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, okay, bismillah. Let's check some things. I looked at your time audit, everything is fine. I'm like, okay, bismillah. So talk to me about the business. And we go through everything. And one of the things that, remember, I told you, listen, what you're gonna have to do is, I want you to bring me how many hours you're spending on each activity in the company, how much hours is taken, and how much revenue you're getting from that thing. Now, I believe the services were about 20% of your revenue, all right? And I had the conversation with you. I was like, cut it out.
And I'm just like, what do you mean?
You're like, what? This is the thing that made me this. I'm like, perfect, yeah. but what got you to this level isn't going to be the thing to get you to the next level. So cut it out, right?
That's so deep.
And you're like, no, but okay, let me just give it.
I was defending it like it's my baby.
I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
cut it out. I remember you sent me the text, right? Our sales are up 128% or whatever. And I'm like,
I told you.
told you so.
I was like, if you get $1 for every time you say "told you so," you'd be a billionaire.
And look, this is always the stage with our clients, and this is why for me it's so important as well. Like I said, and why we like to be there to support our clients. Sometimes you all have to make bold decisions, and it's so difficult to make them alone when there's no, when there's a lot of doubt. You don't know if it's the right move, etc. Which that's why I knew, and that phase where I was like, Adam, go, cut it out. We're not going to speak until you cut it out. Yeah. All right. Alhamdulillah, like we said from Allah's fadl, you've seen the growth, right? And this, what people don't realize, this is continuously grows, by the way. The 20% always becomes much smaller until you realize the exact thing that just results in exponential revenue. So alhamdulillah, I'm glad you found and noticed that. Alhamdulillah, we made that transition, alhamdulillah, and obviously the growth in revenue. In what other areas, if you had to describe it in all of the areas of your life right now, and I'll ask you them one by one, how you've seen exponential growth and how specifically LBD has helped you. So we'll start with business because we've been already there. Let's talk about everything, all right? In terms of the team, etc. How has LBD and what in LBD changed, the different dynamics of your company? Because alhamdulillah, wa barak, you're doing much better now.
So alhamdulillah, in terms of business, wallahi, as I mentioned, in terms of revenue and sales, just in the last week, we've gone 128% up. But that's just because of that one decision. But generally, we've sold more bikes in the last 2 months than we've ever sold in the company. Wow. And Akhi, Fawaz, this is summer. We don't expect to sell bikes. Summer is the time we're supposed to expect a loss to try and
You remember the
survive.
conversation we had about this as well, where you were like, no, but it's just summer.
Yeah.
It's
like a mind block. It's a mental block.
Yeah.
You just tell yourself it's a seasonal business, so I can't do anything about it. Yeah. Sometimes it could even be true. Maybe you're trying to sell ice in winter when there's already ice. But the point is, when you put a mental block, you're telling yourself you can't do anything about it, so don't think about it. But when you tell yourself there's something I can do about it, I need to figure out what it is. Then your brain starts working in mysterious ways and you just find solutions. Okay, I can actually do this. I can offer that instead. We can try and do this for the customers. But wallah, yeah, in the last 2 months, so we ran a few sales, we did a few promotions. We tried to clear old inventory to prioritize, premium bikes more to get new inventory. And we sold more bikes. That's in terms of sales. In terms of the team, we did a team alignment masterclass training with Fawaz, Allahumma barik. So we had our operations manager out, our sales manager, the EA, myself. And I remember I skipped my store manager, the operations guy, and he was just like, Fawaz was like, where is he? I'm like, I don't think he should be here because he's difficult, there's not going to be that much benefit to bring him. He won't understand. You're like, that's exactly why he needs to be here. Like, he's the person who, forget everyone, if everyone else understands, then that's good. Just send them my material. The one who's not getting through to the actual thing, we need to bring him. And I remember, like, even, after that, as soon as we finished that training, you're like, okay, give him this book to read, let him learn, develop. And he's been telling me, he's like, well, I read this book, it's been beneficial. I started interacting with customers differently now. I know how to understand customers and their needs. When I have an aggressive customer, I know where they're coming from, why they're frustrated. So the team alignment was very important. And even more recently, aligning my team on the vision and the mission. Like, that's something which I'm actively working on because I realized that there's either one way or the other. Either I have to choose to be a leader or I choose to be a self-employed. Like, I'm going to self-employ myself, run my own business myself. Then I don't hire anyone else. That's fine. If you want to do that, do that. Then you don't need to worry about leadership. If that's the kind of life you want, tamam. But I realized if I'm a bad leader, if I've got bad leadership traits that I need to work on, it's going to affect my children. It's going to affect the way I run my household, the way I run my company, the way I run everything I do in life. Because I have to be a leader of myself before I can be the leader for anyone else. So that's what I'm currently even actively working with for us to work on. But aligning the team on the vision and mission is so important because if they're just there for the paycheck, wallahi, they're not going to give their best contribution. They're not going to give their best contribution. They're not going to be able to put their best foot forward, and they're not going to jump out of bed. Like, they're going to come to work just because they have to. The day they get an opportunity to leave, the day they get something more attractive, they're going to be gone. And that's the problem. When you have, even recently reading the book you gave me, The Culture Code, it was talking about Flight 232 in, I think, 1900s, where it's like Captain Haynes, the flight engine is failing, and the two captains are pulling the yokes and everything, and someone comes to help. And it just shows you so much leadership traits were taught in that time when the plane was going towards the ground and crashing, and they had like 180 survivors, which was a miracle. They simulated that 28 times and no one was able to replicate that. And they looked at the why was that happening, and they saw the kind of words Captain Haynes was saying. He was basically saying, your captain has no idea of what's going on. Like, you sharing vulnerability and telling the team, listen, we are in a shared mission. We need to save this plane. We are all here for the same reason. So there's not going to be this status thing, this, pretending, this disconnection. Everyone is connected. Everyone is shoulder by shoulder, and they save the plane. And that's how I think of my company now. It's like, this is my family. And the same way I treat my family and want them to be aligned with me and my mission, I have to treat the same way with my team. And if I don't, then I will always face issues. And every time I face an issue, because there's no values and missions and story and ideology that we all share in common, we're all going to have different answers. We're all going to treat situations differently. And that means the team will never go in this direction. It's going to be like this. But when everyone's aligned, everyone's going to give their best contribution. And that's why the most successful groups are not because of the individuals who are highly talented. It's because of the collective contribution they're able to give when everyone's aligned and everyone's connected and they feel safe. Everyone feels safe that this is a space where I can give my best contribution. And if I mess up, I'm not going to be just sacked. I'm not just going to be humiliated. I'm actually going to be learning. I'm going to learn how to overcome it. That for me is something which is very... it's taking up a lot of my mind space right now in terms of my emotionals, and like I really think about it a lot, and something I really am actively working on.
Alhamdulillah. Perfect.
It's amazing.
And in terms of, let's say, relationships, what framework sort of helped you with that from the LBD? What thing would have been the thing that's like, okay, that's it. This is one of the key things, key statements, etc. that would have been like, okay, this is exactly how I improve XYZ bottleneck.
With relationships, wallahi, it's the vulnerability aspect, sharing vulnerability, making time for it. Like, you just have to schedule it in. If you don't schedule in something, it's not going to happen. Like, even I remember just small things that I'll tell you, oh, by the way, akhi, I didn't do my PPM, 2.0. You're like, did you schedule it? You didn't schedule it. So scheduling time, even as unappealing as it may seem, we sometimes want this magical life, but it's not it's not reality. Most people who are able to balance and run a bunch of things is because they have a schedule. So they give time to everything. And when they give time, they're fully present. And so being present in whatever relationship with your family, I remember telling you I wouldn't call my parents like for a week, and I'm like, I live 20 minutes away from them. Like, you're like, why? My parents are in a different country and I talk to them every day. And it's just small things like, you have to actively work on this, because if you are not, don't think it's being taken care of, because it's not. If you're not actively working on something, it's not going to be just taken care of. You have to put in the measures to take care of it. And even if you can't physically be there, you put in the means. Okay, for example, in my case, I could tell my EA, can you get this sorted, get this delivered for that person, get this gift taken care for them, plan this thing for them. But just being intentional about it, giving it its time, and just being present.
Perfect. And in terms of your health as well, there's
health has just been amazing.
Change.
Alhamdulillah, I lost 10 kilos in the span of 3 to 4 months, 90 days, alhamdulillah. And it was 10 weeks that I actually pushed very hard, and I lost 10 kilos. It's gone back up a little bit, but it's now, alhamdulillah, much more lean. So I'm gaining lean mass now. But that's all secondary. What really is important is just that self-image that I was talking about. Like, I can now look at myself in the mirror and be like, I respect this person, and this person is the kind of person who does XYZ as well. And then I can show up for myself in other areas of my life. And it's all connected. You can't just, like one of my friends, Abu Talab, he says, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right? It's a famous quote. And so it's like, if you're going to not take care of your health, then it's very likely you're not going to take care of things as well when push comes to shove. And I've seen people like that, like some people who are very successful businessmen, but then they're out of shape, and I'm just like, out of shape, not just like you're out of shape, like this person is actively throwing himself into disaster, and you realize that he's just addicted to his business, that's why he's doing it. But when push comes to shove, when he doesn't like to do something, he's not going to do it. That's 100%. The reason he does business, because he just likes it right now. Yeah, 100%. And he doesn't work out because he doesn't like working out.
It shows a lack of discipline, 100%.
Yeah.
And I suppose the obviously a key element as well is, before you didn't have understanding of how to be a CEO, what to do, how did LBD grant you clarity in terms of how to be present, how to be a CEO, how to actually lead the company?
SubhanAllah, clarity and giving me guilt-free time for myself as well. Like, just even the replenishment thing that we do once a week. Like, I would feel bad every time I would go out with my friends. I would feel bad relaxing and doing nothing. Like, I would feel bad. I'd be like, why am I doing this? I need to get up and work. But just knowing that this is actually, this replenishment is me working right now, because this is going to help me work productively the next 6 days, the next 5 days. So being guilt-free in the things I'm doing, just having clarity, knowing that what I'm doing is the right thing to do at this time, knowing that I'm not just guessing.
And this has been an amazing transformation. I mean, look, all of the elements of your life, every area of your life has gotten better from Allah's fadl. Do you believe you could have done this alone?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, this is. I think it comes out to an ego. You know, even trying to do my fitness, like yes, we all know that we have to eat good and go to the gym and eat, you know, XYZ, and we're gonna get in shape. But how many of us actually do it? But when you have a PT who's gonna tell you exactly how many calories you need to lose weight, how many workouts you need to do, you know, how many steps do you need to do, until you get that clarity and accountability. There's two things. It's clarity and accountability. When you have those two things, you're able to achieve it. And LBD for me was that, because I didn't have clarity and I didn't have accountability, and so why would I change?
And if you could speak to old Adam, what would you tell him?
اصبر فصبر جميل. You know, just be patient and don't be hasty. You know, don't think that you're gonna conquer the world in a day. You have to take things step by step. You have to humble yourself to get to, you know, where you want. Like Imran always says, you know, you also mentioned, you know, leaders, you know, how are leaders built? It's because they would serve the people. You know, the leader's number one thing is serving. And so you have to humble yourself. And we know from the ulama, we know from the salaf, that before they became the mashayikh that we know today, they just were on the feet of the scholars for decades. And so the point is that even in life, you can't just jump steps. And whenever you try to jump steps, you will either fall and hit your head, or you will reach a place where it's unhealthy for you to be. So you will, for example, you might get the money, but now you have not built the right characteristics to deal with that money. And so you're going to use that in haram. You're going to use that incorrectly. You're going to be irresponsible. So just trust the process. You know, keep pushing and be patient. And you trust Allah. You know, like احرص على ما ينفعك واستعن بالله ولا تعجز. It's the best advice that can be given to any youth, but you just have to follow it. Follow it.
And so, was it worth it? Was it worth it?
I don't think I could repay you, wallahi, akhi. No, honestly, I don't think I could repay you. Like, there's no number that could be put to this, because I have to live for the rest of my life till I die. Then in my grave, sit down and do the calculations of how much money I was able to do because of high leverage work, and then be like, this is what it was actually worth. The point is that, it was very worth it. It was so worth it, and I don't think any of your clients, I at least for myself, I don't think I can pay you back. So I'll have to find ways to now do something for you that you can't get somewhere else.
There's no need for that. Wallahi, your transformation is enough for us.
Alhamdulillah.
And tell me, let's say right now there's a founder on the edge. He's making significant amounts of revenue, you know, and he's not sure. What would you say to him? All right.
You're going to spend that money one way or the other. If money's holding you back, then you need to realize that money is going to be spent one way or the other. You'd rather spend it on something which is actually going to solve your problems, and not something which you believe might solve your problems. And if it's not money that you're worried about, it's about results, then wallahi, testimonials is the way to go. Because yes, it can be very daunting when you're entering something for the first time. And that's why when you realize people who are more, like, even when you started LBD and, you know, other courses that you ran, you know, you have to be very understanding that people don't trust you right now. Like, you have no testimonials behind you. And so before you do that, you can't, you know, be charging expensive amounts. So yes, this is expensive, but it's because of the results that you've been able to deliver to your clients. And, you know, even other brothers who are selling courses and doing coaching and doing mentorships, you have to understand, if they're coming with testimonials, and these are, you look at the brothers, you know a lot of these brothers, they're genuine testimonials, then don't tell yourself, oh, but they're different, oh, but I'm different, my business is different, I can't do it. Well, these frameworks are applicable in any area of life. You can run with it. This could be applied to anyone in any area of life, and they will see tremendous benefit.
Allah bless you. Allah bless you, bro. And what are the next steps for you? Talk to us, inshallah.
The next steps for me is being a good leader. Being a good leader. That's fundamentally now my next bottleneck. Because my first bottleneck was me. Once that got solved, now I need to focus on the team. Because now if I'm not going to be a good leader to my team, then they won't be able to get to the level where I'm going to. I might surpass them, but then they'll just have to leave. They'll have to exit the company. I'll lose my team. So I'd rather just let them grow with me, and I want them to grow with me. I want them to be on a journey with me where we get to levels which we can't imagine. So leadership.
May Allah bless you. Barakallah feek, Adam, man. It's been an amazing one. Alhamdulillah. It was lovely. Hopefully they benefited from your story, the journey, the process, the transformation. Guys, if you're a founder that does over $50K US per month, then click the link in the description and book a call with ourselves. And even if you don't, inshallah, book a call and we'll get you on one of our other programs, but it won't be Live by Design, in truth. Okay? And guys, what can I say? Alhamdulillah. You heard that his next bottleneck is leadership. You'll see much more of Adam bi'idhnillahi ta'ala throughout the next phase. May Allah bless you, bro, and increase you in every area of your life. And honestly, you're a fantastic client to have. May Allah bless you guys. So guys, inshallah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you're a Muslim entrepreneur doing over 100K a month, you cannot scale using the same system that got you to where you are now. You need to upgrade yourself as a founder. This is the exact same thing we've done for all our clients, and they've been able to 3 all the way to 10x in revenue. So if you would like us to do the same thing for you, then click the link in the description down below now.